Hello friends, it's Stamp Ventures with Shauna, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, Canada. Welcome to my Tuesday tutorial, which is not anywhere near 9 p.m. on Tuesday night. It's 3 p.m. here in Saskatchewan, and I decided I'd do my video early today because tonight I'm going to be spending some time with family and my sweetie for Valentine's Day, so I thought I'll hop on right now and do my video. I actually have been contemplating doing my videos earlier in the day anyways, because I find by the time 9 o'clock rolls around, I'm starting to get tired. You know, you're getting old when. So I may continue to do videos earlier in the day. I'll play around with that and see how that goes. But first of all, I'll see if I can get linked up. We'll start this video here and see if I can get hooked up to the iPad so I can see if there are any questions that come through while I'm doing this afternoon video. Oh, my iPad's kind of crooked there. It's partly out of its holder. Okay. Oh, I think I found it. Yep. There we go. Okay, and swipe to the right to see comments. So if you're able to join me today, say hello and let me know where you're watching from. I know this is an unusual time of day for me to be doing my video, but like I said, I'm going to be spending some Valentine's time with my family and my husband this evening. I have to find some more funnies for the start of my videos. This was the one that I found, that one of the last ones that were in my stash, and I like how they show the Canadian shoes with the little snow plows on the front. We haven't had much snow lately. We've actually been losing snow because we've had lots of warm and melty days. Today is colder though, but I'm hoping we're not going to get too much more snow. If the plows have been out, they've actually been plowing some ice away, and that's been really nice because the ice has just been crazy around here, and some streets worse than others. But it was nice for the last few days to get rid of a little bit of the ice. We still have tons of snow, lots of snow to melt. But after what I think we had 4 or 5 days of melting, we've cleared out a bit of it. It'll make a difference when spring comes. Well, today's weather is cold and sunny. It's not as warm and definitely not melting. It's like 12 degrees below the freezing point today. So yeah, not quite as nice as it has been, but still nice to see the sun. And you know what? I was going to say that today's weather was brought to you by the Raindrops Embossing folder, but it's not because it's been raining out or cloudy. It's just that we've had so much melting. Everybody's cars are just splashed and dirty as can be. So yeah, the Raindrops Embossing folder. I don't know if you could make it look like something's being splashed with those. I don't know. That might be tricky, but lots of people in the last few days before today's cold one were sure getting splashed out there. You had to be careful when you were walking too. And sometimes the only safe place, dry place to walk was the middle of the street. So then you had to like keep dodging traffic. Well, not downtown or anything, just in the middle of the street in the residential areas. Okay, so getting on with the card here. I'm going to make a quick love and big hugs card for Valentine, and this is just going to use like one color of ink. It's going to use white cardstock, a little bit of designer paper, and the designer paper is going to be in the same color as the ink, and I'll use the Sending Smiles stamp set and the coordinating dies, and it will be a very quick card and something you might be able to go back to and maybe even make it over and over again for different occasions. Doesn't have to necessarily be Valentine's Day. So first of all, I'm going to grab my paper trimmer, and I've got my 8.5 by 11 sheet of basic white cardstock, and I'm going to cut it down to 7 inches tall. Because right now it's 11 inches tall. And you're like, what? 7 inches tall? That's right. We're going to be making a slimline card today. So I'm going to hang on to this. I'm going to be able to use it later for a part of my card. Now I've got this 7-inch here, and I am going to just slide my 7-inch bit over till my corner gets to the 3.5-inch mark, and I'm going to score with my scoring blade here at the bottom, the lighter gray one, to create a crease mark. And yeah, we're making a slimline card. So there we go. When we fold it in half, it's a nice long, we call them slimline cards here in the card making crafting world, and it'll fit nicely into a business size envelope. But if you have our slimline envelopes that Stampin' Up! Sells, it will fit perfectly into there too. So I'm done with, no, I'm not done with the paper trimmer. I said we'd need this piece of paper, this one that got cut off. It doesn't need, like, it's a 4-inch piece. I'm just going to cut it in 2 inches. And the reason I'm cutting it in a narrower piece is it's going to fit better into my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So I'll just set those to the side. And now I'm done with the paper trimmer. Get that out of the road. All right, so I'm going to punch some hearts to go on the front of my card. And I find that my cards often are popping up when I'm working on them, and sometimes you can take a bone folder and crease the edges a little bit, and that will help. Another thing I've often done is I've taken something and set it onto the corner to help the card lay down flat while I'm working on it. My last suggestion is to get some of the 3M like repositionable tape. It's made by Scotch brand, so it's just like sticky note tape, so it's not permanent, and you can stick your card together like that just to hold it while you're working on it. Just like that. Now it won't be popping up on me. And with my heart punch, this is from the heart punch pack. There's a bigger heart that has a scallop that layers behind this one, and I'm just going to use the smooth edged one. I think it works best for what I'm doing because it's kind of a simple card. Simple as in not fussy. So I've grabbed my in color pack of designer series paper, and I have to think about this. This is the 2022-2024 in color paper. So it's got the Starry Sky, the Tahitian Tide, the Orchid Oasis, the Sweet Sorbet, and the Parakeet Party. And I'm going to grab some Sweet Sorbet, and I've got 2 different patterns here, 2 different patterns on this side and 2 different patterns on that side, and I'm just going to punch out 3 hearts, and you could pick whichever patterns you want. So I'm going to pick the flowery pattern. I don't think I'm going to get the stripy pattern, and I'm going to pick the polka dot pattern, and let's see, yeah, I'm going to punch one from the plaid pattern. There we go. Got my 3 hearts punched. Something I could mention, you may have noticed, I've got my DSP pack in a Ziploc bag, and I think this is like a medium Ziploc bag, and I find them just the right size to keep these 6 by 6 inch packs of designer paper, and they also hold all the little scraps that you end up with. They really corral things together well. So if you're, if you've opened up your pack and then you're like, ooh, the plastic wrap around it is starting to fall off, check out I think this is a Ziploc brand medium size bag, and the paper fits really nicely into there. I'm thinking it must be 7 inches by 7 inches. My ruler is too short, but yeah, it's close to that anyways. Works great for storing the 6 by 6 DSP. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to glue these hearts down and get the variety of 3 different patterns. And I want to glue them in the middle of my card. And I'm going to pull out that ruler again. It's a little bit short, as I said. The card itself from along the long way is 8.5 inches, and my ruler's only 6. But I'm going to kind of sort of put my ruler so that's kind of in the middle, and then I know that that 3-inch mark is kind of sort of where I want that middle heart to line up. We're going to work with close-ish and kind of sortas today. I'm not going to get too hung up if it's not like perfectly in the center, because it's just going to be such a pretty card that the people who open it are going to be not going to notice if anything's just, slightly off. And if they do, well, then I'm going to have to like pour them a glass of wine and say, now look at this card again. Okay, so that's ish about in the center, and then I'll put these 2 on either side, and I'm just going to look at the spaces in between and kind of line them up similar-ish on each side. So, ooh, there we go. Just realized probably couldn't see me. I don't know if you could see me put the glue on there. I was just tracing around the edge of the heart. There was a cute lady who did a presentation at the convention I went to, and she put SU for Stampin' Up! On everything that she glued down on her card. It was so cute. Okay, so ish, yeah, about the same difference here and here. And if I take and I put this ruler, oh, they're, kind of sort of lined up across the top. Yeah, we'll call it good. Okay, so there we go. 3 patterned hearts. If you don't have the in color pack of designer series paper, you could still use other designer series papers that have more colors in them, but kind of pick a couple of the patterns that have similar colors running through them, and that would look, I think, fine too. Kind of pick what's the most prominent color and go with that. And actually, if you do make a card, something like this, I would love to see how it turns out. I always love to see how people's card endeavors work, and the ideas they came up with, and the different types of paper that they used, because there's so many variations that you can do, and I'd love to see the ideas. Okay, so now I'm going to grab my stamp and chamois, my cleaner, because I just realized the last time I used these stamps, I did not clean the ink off. So this is the word that says sending from the Sending Smiles stamp set. It says sending right there. And this is the one that says love and hugs. And I just better make sure there's no ink. I'm pretty sure I didn't clean them from last time. Now we're ready to go. And I'm going to ink the word sending with the coordinating ink color that goes with this paper, the Sweet Sorbet. And, I'm just going to make sure don't have any, get any moisture from the chamois off of the photopolymer stamp. Now we'll ink it up. Some people notice that I like to do tapping when I ink up my stamps, and sometimes I'll move it to different areas of the stamp pad, and that's so that I get all those little droplets of ink to spread around evenly. Basically, when you're stamping, that's what you're doing. You're putting droplets of ink onto the stamp and then onto the paper. And the more even that you can make those droplets of ink, the better that your image is going to be. So pressing harder won't make the droplets even, but tapping and getting a nice even coverage will help. Wow, look at that. Super nice. Awesome. And while I've got my ink pad open, I'm going to stamp the love and big hugs. I have a bunch of these papers. I keep a stash of them from when I'm cutting papers for classes. They are exactly 1/2 inch. And the reason I get so many of them is when I'm creating a card and I need a layer that's just 1/4 inch smaller for the card. So say I have my regular 5.5 inch by 4 1/4 card, and I want to make the next layer down, which is 5 1/4 by 4. When I'm trimming my paper, I start with 11 inches and I trim it off to make it 10.5 inches. So then when I cut it in half, there's my 5 1/4, and I get all these 1/2 inch pieces. Now I don't save every single one of them because holy smokes, my cup would runneth over from all of them. But I save a good amount to them, a goodly amount, and then when I need them for something little like this, I just grab these 1/2 inch strips and I work with them. So here we go. I'm going to ink up the love and big hugs. I'm going to try and just stamp it straight on the strip. And if I don't, I've got lots of paper that I can try it again. I feel like I got something there on the corner. I'll do it again and I'll pick my favorite one. Which one looks best? Okay. Well, that's pretty good. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. So I think I'm done with the ink. I'll close that up for now and grab my paper snips. I'm going to snip this love and big hugs into just a little piece that I'm going to attach to my card. There we go. Now, if I didn't have the dies for this stamp set, I could just fussy cut around the word sanding. Some people do that, but I do happen to have the dies, and so that makes it pretty quick and easy to cut the sanding out. So I'm going to grab my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss. Some of you may have seen that the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss is something that can be added onto the starter kit right now. And we have our traditional white color, but then we also have a beautiful boho blue. And boho blue is going to be a brand new in color. I'm guessing it's coming up in the new annual catalog that I think it starts in May. So I'm just grabbing my plates that I'm going to be cutting with. You can see this is the one that my blades have mostly been cutting against. And I just keep flipping this over so that it wears evenly. And then I usually use this one for my top plate. If you find that your plate is, if you find that you can push it and there's a little bit of bubble in the middle, you definitely want to turn it over. You want to keep the plate as flush to this next platform as flush as you can. So I'm going to put the sanding on the plate and then the die to cut the word out. And remember that 3M sticky note tape, that's not permanent. I'm going to grab more of that, and that's going to hold my word in place while I cut it. Somebody's asked me lately about the magnetic platform. There's one listed in the annual catalog, but it is not available right now because there were some issues with it. And so Stampin' Up! Stopped the production, and I'm hoping that they're going to be coming up with another magnetic platform that will be so handy. But for now, the temporary 3M tape works well. Other thing is when you're rolling things through your cut and emboss machines, you want to stagger your plates. It's easier for the machine to grab it all then, because if you have everything right flush with the edge, it's hard for the machine to grab all that in one bite. So this makes it easier for the machine to start it and roll it through. Okay. So we're done with the machine now. I'll put that away, and I'm going to carefully Don't worry, have to, that's, I pulled a little bit of tape or a little bit of paper off with the tape there, but that's okay because that's not going to be on the card. And I'll carefully take this off of the die. You can sometimes reuse those pieces over too. So you might have seen when I had my machine up here earlier, there is a piece of that tape stuck here, and I've reused that one over and over again. So yeah, it's not like you have to use a new piece every single time. So sending, I'm going to bump this up. I'm going to use mini dimensionals. I think a big dimensional will fit in the S area, but all the other places on the back here are better suited, better sized for the minis. I'm going to put a few just so that it's not, kind of up and down bumpy like a roller coaster. So something like that. And while I'm here with the dimensionals, I'm going to put some on the back of the love and big hugs too. Okay. And the hardest part of all is getting these little pieces off. You know what some people find is easiest, and it takes a minute to get the knack, but once you get the knack, you can pull them off with your, ooh, it's sticking to me. You can pull them off with your, take your pick tool with the, isn't that, yeah, I don't think it picked this one up. No, with the pokey part. There we go. So I'm going to glue the sending in the middle of my hearts. You might, when you're working on your cards, you might have a different way of arranging your words, but I'm going to go with center for now. And, oh, got to take these guys off too. Okay, nice. All three. Got them. I'm going to tuck the corner of this just under the G here a little bit, and it's going to overlap that last heart just a bit. Something like that. Sending love and big hugs. And finally, to finish off, I'll grab my in color matte decorative dots, and I'm going to scatter a few dots over the card. And it's nice because the dots are like in shades of the color. So there's the light sweet sorbet and then a little bit darker, they're ombre. So I'm going to try and get a few different shades of the sweet sorbet on here just to change things up a bit. So like maybe by this dark red heart, I'll put a lighter one, and then over here where my heart is lighter, I'll put one of the darker. Ooh, gotta mush my, I think this might be getting a little dried out. Maybe I can see if there's more in here. I'll twist this and get some fresh goop coming out. There we go. Yeah, that putty was a little old and dry. We'll see if this does a better job of picking this up. Yeah, it sure does. Okay, so we'll put this one here, and then let's see another. Oh, okay, putty, stop. Sometimes you have to like untwist it a little bit and push it back because it wants to keep coming out. Come here, and maybe a light one. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, maybe here. Do you want to stop? I'm going to stop there for now. If you want, you could stop at 3, or you could do 5. In fact, I've got another card that I did where I did put 5 on. I'll show you. Oh, I can take these. No, I'll just leave them there. Yeah. I've got my temporary adhesive there keeping it shut, but I would take that out when I go to write on it and send it. But yeah, that's it. That's my quick Valentine's card. And I've got some in different colors. So here it is in the Orchid Oasis. And you can see I put my matte dots just in a few different little spots there. But the Orchid Oasis looks just as pretty. and it's, you know, still the hearts. So I think it would work for Valentine's too. And then I've got one more here that's Tahitian Tide, another one of the in colors. And this one I changed as to where I put the words love and big hugs. And I put 5 of the decorative matte dots on it instead of 3. So yeah, you can play around with this idea a little, but it's super quick and easy. And if you need a last minute Valentine's Day card, you could pull out the Sending Smiles stamp set and make this up very quickly, and use whatever colors of paper that you've got on hand. If you need more information about the Sending Smiles stamp set and the dies, I'd be happy to help you out. But yeah, quick idea just for Valentine's Day today. These are going to go to the grandmas and grandpas in our family. Now, just to finish off the video, I was going to do a quick bow tying tutorial because I have somebody who recently got a little bow maker, and she wants to know how to tie the bows on it. So I will finish off with that. So if you've always wanted to know how to tie bows using something like this bow maker, or you could just get like a piece of a foam block and push 2 skewers into the foam block, but just 2 somethings. It could even be a great big meat fork or something like that, to have 2 spires that you can tie around. That's what I'm going to show you today. So on we go to the bow making, and I'll just grab some ribbon, and I'm trying to think what's the best. I think I'm going to grab this green ribbon because it's bright and it will show up really well against the brown of the wooden bow maker. I was going to cut a piece off, but the nice thing about doing a bow on the bow maker is you don't have to cut the ribbon until you've tied your bow, so you use pretty much only the ribbon that you need. First of all, I'm going to try tying this way, and then I'll do another example from the top down, but I think if I turn it this way, you'll get a better idea. So I've got my end of my ribbon here in my right hand, and okay, I'm just going to pull this off so it's not in my way. There we go. I'm going to take and I'm going to cross the right hand piece of ribbon, the end, over the left, just like that. So you can see there it is. This right hand piece is on top of the left. And then I'm going to take and I'm going to push that piece down like that and bring it all the way around. And now it's on the left, but I'm going to take and I'm going to cross it over again so that it's left over right this time. See, so cross over. Eek. I'm not used to holding it this in this direction, so cross it over, and I'm going to come around and I'm going to come up and through the hole that I've created there, and I'm going to pull it tight. Whoops, there we go. And pull, pull, pull. And when you make bows on a bow maker or on a tine, fork tines, or anything like that, you have to really pull tight to make sure that you've secured it and it's the bow's not going to shift around on you. And then I can just take and pull it off, and that one edge that was the one I was starting with, I'm going to trim that a little bit shorter, but there we go. There is a bow with the bow tire, and I'm going to do it again so that you can see it. And for those of you who are trying to learn how to do this, it's you know, it takes practice a couple times, and I found when I was first making them, I always had to talk out loud to myself and tell me, okay, here we go. I'm going to take this piece that's on the right and I'm going to cross it over top of the left piece. So there it is. The right piece over here is crossing over top of the left. And then I'm going to put it in between the dowels and bring it up and around to the front. And now I'm going to take and I'm going to cross this back over the one that's on the right here, and see how I'm creating, there's a bit of a hole. I'll twist it so you can see that hole. I'm going to come up through that hole and I'm going to pull tight to tighten it up because I don't want my bow to be loosey-goosey. And then you can trim off the excess. You can play with the ends. You know, sometimes you want them down a little bit more and you need to trim a little bit more to even them up. There we go. Bow number 2. I'll do it once more because I just want to make sure that one of these takes is clear enough for the people who are trying to learn to do these bows. So last time. So I pull the ribbon around the back of the tines or the dowels. I've got this right hand piece. I'm going to cross it over my left. I find now when I get to this point, I use my right hand to hold those two pieces together. So then with my left hand, I can push this piece between the dowels and pull it around, and I'm bringing it up to the front again. And there's my two pieces. And I want to cross these over, but when I cross them over, I want to keep that hole. Now I've got everything in my left hand here. I want to keep that hole so that I can bring that loose piece around and bring it through the hole just like that and pull tight. There we go. And bow number 3. So I hope that helped my friend who wanted to get a bow making lesson, and for the rest of you who were trying to figure it out, hope that helped you too. Have a great Valentine's Day. I hope it's a wonderful day for you. And next week, I'm hoping I'll be back with a new card, and I might just continue with this earlier in the day time because it's working well, and I seem to have just a little bit more energy at this point in the day. So I might give it a go and see how that works. Thanks very much for tuning in for the video. And if you have any questions, as I said earlier, I'm Stamp Ventures with Shauna here in Canada. Give me a shout. Good to talk to you today. Bye for now.